I had to grab the camera quickly just to show you this. This is probably the worst that I've ever seen a chain. I'm sure people watching this have seen worse. So we have our Park Tool chain guide, and then when we get to 75, normally we're looking to change chains over. So this customer brought the bike in last week for us to give it a full service, and when the customer arrives, we always just pop a chain tool on just to let them know while they're here how much wear the chain's got, so we're not just sort of phoning them up later on and saying, oh, you need a new chain. So there you go. So what you do with this, if you know well with these gauges, you just slide this little gauge, and then I'd be hoping it's going to stop at say 50 or something like that, and then we could carry on using that chain. We'll then ultrasonically clean it and the customer can carry on. But poor Martin, we carried on going past and we went all the way to 1, which is pretty bad. So that would absolutely need replacing. But then on his gauge we can actually move it backwards and forwards. It is absolutely destroyed. If you look in detail at the rivets, you can see all the rivets there are sort of just hanging out basically, and consequently, because he's let it wear so long, the cassette is now damaged. All the teeth are widened, so if I put a new chain on this, the chain will just be slipping off everywhere. And then of course you can't buy the different rings for these. And then the front chain ring is also quite well hooked as well, and you can see that's actually the chain sitting. That's how well the chain sits onto the chain ring. So it's pretty well worn. It's an interesting debate with sustainability and everything nowadays, because our recommendation is generally, if you're doing a certain amount of miles, I mean certainly for myself, I'm doing 10,000 miles-ish a year. I'm probably changing my chain a couple of times a year, so every year I'd be going 2 chains. And what Martin's told us is that this has actually been on for 2 years. So the chain has been on for 2 years, the cassette's been on for 2 years, and the chain ring's been on for 2 years with no sort of like annual servicing or anything. So it's an interesting debate of whether 4 chains, which would be retail £160 at £40 a pop, is that better to spend that money on 4 chains than to just not do anything whatsoever, and then after the period of 2 years you then instead are buying a chain, a cassette and a chain ring. So that's just, that's up to individuals to make a decision. So from a cost perspective, it's £160 for 4 chains, and then it would be £105 for a rear cassette, £65 for a front chain ring, and £40 for a chain. And that's if you're paying retail price at a bicycle shop and looking after your local bicycle shops. So interesting debate. Not sure what people think of that, but I had to get it on video. I'm sorry, Martin, if I'm being rude doing it, but I just think you definitely win the award for the most worn chain that I have personally ever seen in my life. So that is superb. So that's all the way out on the guide. It was so bad I had to check this on other bikes. So I had to put the gauge back on other bikes, and I was like, am I doing this wrong? I've been doing this for decades, and there's no way that could be that bad, but it absolutely is. So there we go. Big long video, way too long talking about a chain. I'll probably just chuck a bit on the end with his new stuff on it, just so we can all feel good about it. He's actually going for an optimized chain, so we're going to be putting a brand new chain on, which we've got ready for him already. It's going to be a Silka hot wax chain to try and get some more life out of everything for him. All right, see you on the next video. Bye.